Welcome back everyone to our video virtual tour around Castle and Denham. First up we have to go to is the Marine Park, and I do a nice little shot where you can get a visual tour from the entry of the bay and the area that you would see at Shake Bay. And the scenery around that was really beautiful. You can see in the footage, I panned the whole area so you can get a good view. You can even see sharks in there and so forth. Then a whole section, because we had lunch there too, was just really nice scenery with the cliffs off to the left and the bay down deeper below and then curving around to the right. Now, the first one, once we get inside, we actually end up going to the shark tank first. You get to see quite a few sharks in here. Sometimes it's hard to get them in the footage, so I apologise. I couldn't, and plus I didn't want to get down too low to those sharks. But there's a tiger shark in there that you can see, a couple other big sharks, but there's also some big fish. Now, if anyone watches this and can tell me exactly what fish it is, that'd be helpful, because there's two different ones. One is smaller, and then one is ginormous. You'll see it in towards the later end of the videos. It actually comes from the darker section into the lighter section where you can actually see it better. But you get to watch the sharks swim around that whole section, and you get to see quite a few. I can't remember all the different varieties they had, but I do recall the tiger shark being one of them. And for those out there that know which ones are which, yeah, by all means let me know which ones are which, because I couldn't identify them as well as some people can. So this is about the stage where you can see some of this, the big fish, and sorry, yeah, that's the big fish area. I apologise for the pause. I am just checking where I was up to. Whereabouts we're going through on the video. So that's, I think the majority of this is just that tank area and that fish zone that we get to see. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see, because there is a big fish area, and I do poke my head in at one stage, so there could be two shots of that. But then we move over after we've seen some of the bigger fish. So there's got you've got the big fish that are in shark, then you have big circular area that holds lots of shark. Now, I knew there was a trevally in there. You can clearly spot that. There was quite a few other ones, one with blue spots on its back. So anyone that can identify those fishes, I'd be appreciated to know which ones they are, if I don't look them up in the meantime. And then they have a sea snake pool. One's white and the other one's some sort of silvery colour, and I get a nice shot of underwater. You can see them. Just a quick one, because didn't want to drag this out too long, of them just swimming along together around the edge of the pool area. It's pretty nice to be able to see and not have to worry about. After this, I move around to the coral tank with all the beautiful style tropical fish. And I was actually fortunate enough. It was funny, there was a particular blue coloured fish, rather large but skinny, and like long and fat, and quite frequently as I was filming, it would actually tilt onto its side as if it was looking at the camera as it was zipping around. If you can see that sort of action, it just looks quite interesting. I don't know if he was intrigued by the object or what. There was I think the angelfish, the one with the yellow. They look like, I can't remember the name of the ones, but the one with the yellow stripes. They really seem keen to be interested in the fish there. Sorry, not the fish there. Of my GoPro, they get quite close to it, but you get to see quite a few different variety of some of the coral and tropical style fish that you're going to see in that sort of area in the marine wildlife area park. And what you'll see out in the reefs in the ocean and so forth. But yeah, really pretty and really nice area. Now from here, there's a poison area that's kind of off to the side in one of another little tanks that holds that angelfish that can sting you, and the puffer fish. I'm not sure which one it is. The one that the Japanese need to cut to get the right meat out. Otherwise, if you don't, you could end up dying. So that's not one I would recommend. I think they even mentioned if you want it, you actually need to get sign a waiver saying, even though they're professional chefs able to do this, that if you die, it's not their fault, and also you move you away from everybody else while you're eating it. I don't know how true that is. That's just what they were saying at the Marine Centre as information for us. Then at this stage, I move around to the main pool, and now this main pool is quite shallow, but is absolutely teeming with fish. Not like the colourful tropical fish that you see, but just a lot of variety of different types of fish that are in there. Two quite very active. They were swimming around constantly. You'll notice them on the footage come back around, and they just loop big giant loops. Well, the other one stood back and looked. Some came up close and had a look. One of the little ones that were zipping around actually came up and had a look at my camera itself just to see what it was. But yeah, it's some great footage there. And it's nice to be able to see some of these different fish and some of the different types of fish, and even better the fact that you're able to get some film of those fish and in that natural sort of environment where that's possible, because you can't always get it, except for the fact that I managed to get some today actually while we were out on the beach. I put my GoPro in the seawater, and you should see the sea life teeming there. It was crazy. Anyway, so that's the marine park. It's they also serve great lunch. I couldn't not anything to do with fishing or four-wheel driving, but the place there, we had the whiting, some of the best whiting I've ever had. Not a useful fact for fishing the virtual tour or anything like that, but I just had to mention it because it was freaking fantastic. So the experience was great. It's cool to be able to see the sharks in there, check out all the different fish that are there. They do say don't stick your hand in the water, so use an extension to get the vision of the fish. They didn't tell me off for that, so I'm hoping that was no issue. Anyway, in a moment, we'll head off to the giant, there's a big fish tank area. in this big fish tank area, this was the one that holds a lot of the big predator fish that you would really want to catch. I would have loved to try and hook up one even in that small space just to feel the amount of weight that those things can put you through. But you get to see at first a trevally has sort of worked out. It's already like food in from the tops down, and it comes to the surface as you can see in that surface. As you can see in the footage, it comes to that surface, sort of pokes its little mouth out. So they say be careful because apparently it tries to bite you if you don't give it food. But I got some nice shots of it. Unfortunately, the water there was really murky. So unfortunately, unlike most of the other tanks, it was really hard to clearly identify and see the fish coming. You had to pretty much be on top of them. So half the time I couldn't even see whether they were coming or not. But you get to see quite a few of all the different fish that are in the tank swim past. You see the trevally quite a few times, but it moves rather quickly and darts in and out. There's a huge big black looking one. There's that blue spotted one I mentioned, and a couple other different types of ones. And once again, if you know, anyone that knows which ones they are and what types, that would be great if you could drop a comment on the YouTube channel if you're hearing this through this, or on the Facebook site where the link was. But either way, having some of those names to go with the fish, just in case I get lucky and I pull up a fish, I know exactly which one that is. I usually have a pretty good idea of most of them, but there are so many, it's kind of very hard to know every single one of them. And generally you're sort of targeting a particular type of fish, so it's not like you just throw it out and hope for the best. You're actually aiming for something, generally speaking anyway. So if anyone knows that sort of information, I'd love to know about it and get you involved in the conversation on the topic. So I spend a bit of time trying to mess around and get as much view as I can of this of that pool area. I apologise for the length of just me trying to get as much footage as I can of those fish. I wanted to cut out bits and pieces, but and I did to shorten the whole thing, but I didn't want to just deprive some of the fishes that are there, and you had to stick it in the water and hold it for as long as possible, and in hope that it would come around and you could get a clean, good shot of it coming through, so you can clearly see what type of fish it was. So I probably should have just maybe even cut some out or sped out. But anyway, we all live and learn. But it was a great place, so I would recommend if you are ever planning to go to Shark Bay, that centre, not too expensive to get in. I'm trying to remember what the price was. For some reason, $30 is sticking in my head, but don't quote me on that. I wasn't 100% sure because I was distracted by the view and taking a video while my wife paid, so I wasn't 100% certain. After this area, once we finished up looking at the marine park and spending quite a bit of time there, we head down the road. There's a lookout point called Eagle Bluff, and that comes up in a what do we got? About 2 minutes. Wow, who wants to listen to me talk for 2 minutes? But I might as well. It was something I was going to mention about this, and then for the life of me, I've totally lost track of what it was. that I thought I might need to let you know about that place. But yeah, it's not huge. It's kind of set small areas, like I mentioned. And you can see in some of the videos the shark, even that shark pen or shark pool, doesn't look that big for. I think it's what looked like it was. I think I counted about 3 or 4 sharks, and 2 big giant sized fish. And then there's I didn't bother including the squid tank in because it didn't really do that much, and thought it would just waste more time on the video. Then you obviously got that poison tank. Then you have the tank with all the coral fish that we did, and then you have that main low down tank of water where a lot of the normal variety fish you'll see sit, and then there's obviously the huge tank outside which houses the big predatory fish, and that's the guys that we want to hunt when we go fishing. So anyway, we'll be popping off from here, heading to Eagle Bluff. When we get out to the Eagle Bluff, you walk down. We've got a nice little walkway, and you walk down to the end of the walkway, and they've got a bit of a viewing platform. It drops off like cliff face sort of thing. You can see the bay area. It's known to have shark nursery in it, so you can see baby sharks down in there. There is also some information boards I video through here, so if I don't hold the camera long enough and you want to read any of that, just pause the video and have a squeeze, because I like reading a little bit about the area, about certain fish, about certain species and so forth are there, and what they like to do when they're there, etc, etc. So if you need to just pause it and read that stuff, that's why I was there. But yeah, I did a nice big pan out for you guys to see exactly what you'll see from that. And I walk from, because there's a platform that walks out and you look out towards the left and out towards the beach to the island on the other side called the Eagle Land National Park. You can actually sort of see that way off in the distance, and then I walk around to the right and I'll take you with us up the ramp, up the pathway they've made to the second sightseeing area, where there's another info board, which again you can pause if you want to have a read, and you get a nice view from there of the bay. There's a little rock sort of mini island just down below, and then the bay around to the right hand side, because there's another area to the right. But that area there is, I gotta say, is really some of the nicest places I've managed to see since being here. So I'm just going to just be quiet for a moment so you can have a break from me talking and just enjoy some of the views that you can see from that area, and have a moment to just take all that view in. So that's exactly what you're going to see if you are up there, you're driving along and you want to see some of the coastline. There are those really nice lookout points. Unfortunately, like Cape Heron, a lot of these ones where they do the pathways, you can't get down there, it's too far, it's too high up. So it's just impossible to get down. You can drive around, because there's a point when I panned it from the start to the left hand side, there was like sort of like a little bit of a bay and a poke out cape. You can drive down to that cape section and get vision from there. We drove down to have a look, but it's pretty much the same stuff. So just turned around and left. But there's that whole section in there. And it also mentioned you can't camp in there either. For those that want that information, you can't camp in there. And also, so afterwards, once we finished having a really good look at that whole area, we head down to Shell Beach. It's just a bit further down from where we are at the moment. A very unique experience, but I'll mention that in a minute. Once you get a chance just to take in some of the vision that you're seeing at the moment. It's, I've got to say, really beautiful. Like, I've got to say, most of the areas around Shark Bay has been some of the best places where you can see the red sort of hilly rock and melt into the turquoise water, the sort of abundance of marine wildlife, yet sections where there's nice white beaches, like Herald Light, for example, where it's nice and white sand mixed in with the turquoise water. It's a very unique sort of style of place to be, with lots of things to see and do. Anyway, so as I mentioned, on our ways to Shell Beach, and I think so we'll get there in about a minute or so. You'll see us pop up at Shell Beach. It's apparently this was interesting because I asked about. By the way, I think in about a minute or so, they're actually doing construction there. I'm not sure what they're building. I believe they're building facilities like toilets or shade there. There was only a few blocks and the builders working in that main section, so you had to go through a different entrance to get down onto Shell Beach. So I'm not sure exactly what they're building there, but they're definitely building something there. Whether it's a combination of both shade and bathrooms, who knows, but they're in the process of building that at the moment. So I take a shot from the entry point, or the temporary entry point that you can get to. So when we get there, oh, that's right, I remember to say, when I asked the travel or the information centre, I think Shell Beach came up, and I didn't quite understand the concept of this, but we were told that you weren't allowed to take shells from Shell Beach. I'm not sure why you can't. They're literally everywhere. I don't quite get it. As you're walking along the shells, you're literally just hearing them crack and crumble beneath your feet, turning it into basically hardened concrete, basically.